This video has been made possible by Rebus Farm, the professional render service.
Hey guys, and welcome back to a new video. Well, today we're going to do some modeling. We're going to model a round of ammo, 7.62 millimeters to be exact, and we're going to do that in Maya 2017. Then we're going to UV that model in Maya, and we're going to texture it in Substance Painter. Okay, so that's all there's to it. Let's jump in, have some fun. Here we go. Okay guys, well, we're in Maya 2017, and let's start by loading up a reference image. So I'm going to go to panel view, I'm going to go to my front view, go to view, image plane, import image, and then we're going to go and look for that. And let's see where it is. There we go, and that's the one I wanted. All right. So I'll make this image available to you guys. Just check the description below. I'm going to hit W to move that out so it's not sitting in our grid. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with a basic and simple polygon cylinder. Okay, so we're going to check the settings, the subdivision levels. So for that we're going to hit Control A to pull up the attribute editor. And we're going to check polycylinder 1. I'm going to set the subdivision level to 30 to make it nice and round, and I'm going to set the caps to 0. Okay, now this is not going to be extremely low poly or anything. If you want to use this for a game, you will need to have a high poly and a low poly to bake that out, but in this video we're just going to do the high poly. Okay, so we're going to hit E to rotate this guy. We're going to hold down J to snap it to 15 degrees per step of rotation, and then we're going to jump to this view and we're going to bring it up. So we're going to hit W, move it here, hit R to scale that up until we are level on the top and on the bottom there. Okay, we're going to turn on our X-ray here so we can see it a bit better, and then we're going to hit W, and let's move that guy back right there and move it up slightly. Okay, good starting point. Then we're going to go to the back here, we're going to right click and go to face, select that, Control E to extrude and W to pull out, like so. Switch back to this view, bring it into right there, and then hit R to scale that down until you're happy with the angle. Okay, then we're going to go to this guy, select that one. We're going to push that one back, so hit W and I'll push that back to right there, and then we're going to hit Control E to extrude that, hit R to bring that in, and we now need to check how far in we are, which is kind of hard to see, so we'll just see if we can kind of eyeball it, and then we'll correct it later. So we're going to hit G to repeat and W to pull out. And as we do that, you can see that we're just a little bit short there. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in, I'm going to right click at an edge, I'm going to click that edge, and let's get that one too. We'll just select it here and then shift drag like that, and so we got those two. And what we'll do is we'll hit R and we'll just bring that up slightly. Okay, looks a bit better. And then we're gonna take this face here, I'll actually close this out so we've got a bit more room, hit W and push that back until we are right there. Okay, we're gonna hit Control E to extrude again, hit W, bring that out to there, and hit R to scale that out, and then G to repeat last command, W to pull out, and we're just gonna make some room there. There we go. I'll make some room here as well. We're gonna hit G to repeat last command, W to pull out to right there, and R to scale down, G to repeat last command, W to pull out to right there. And then we're going to hit Control E again, we're going to hit R to scale down once again, G to repeat last command, W to pull out, and we have a similar situation here where we need to come up a little bit. So we're gonna right click at an edge, take that edge, and then go back here. So we got that one. We're gonna shift select all of that and then shift select that. So we got that edge and that edge. And then we're gonna go back to this view and we're gonna hit R to scale that up to about there. And you can see that the one on the inside is kind of pushed in. So we are going to shift like that to get rid of that selection and to get rid of that one and that one. So we only have the one inside selected there, so we can hit W and pull that out. So that is level again, and looks like I got one selected right there, and I don't want that, so that is that edge right there. Okay, that's better. And then what we're going to do is we're going to right click, go to face in this view here, face, push that back a little, and then from this view we're going to start to create that shape that we want. Okay, all right, so we got that. We're going to hit G to repeat, W to pull out, and try to keep those levels roughly the same. So G and W, and now we're going to start to hit R. And what we're going to do is we're just going to follow that top line there. It's going to be symmetrical, so don't worry about that we have that little distance down here. We're just going to follow that top line, okay? G and W, and R to scale down. G, W, and R to scale down. G, W, and R to scale down. Let's keep on going. And I'm not going to follow that shape exactly, as you can see. Just trying to put a little bit of creative freedom in there. The black lines of this image are quite thick, so it needs a little bit of interpretation. Repeat. And let's do that and hit R to pull that in to about there. Okay, now we are going to smooth this, so no worries. Like I said, there's no need for us to have an extremely low poly here. It's going to be kind of a display render, so that's going to be all right. We are going to do with this guy, we're going to hit Control E to extrude. We're going to hit R to scale in to about there. G to repeat, W to push in, G to repeat again, R to scale out, G to repeat once more, and W to push out, like so. And that needs to be flush. So we're going to look at this end, and we're going to make sure that that doesn't stick out. So we're going to bring that in a little bit. All right. Okay, so that's the basics of it. What we're going to do next is we're going to add some edge loops to hold that shape so we can smooth that out. And so I'm going to go to Insert Edge Loop, and I'll actually do that from this view. What I'll do is I'll add one here, add one there, we'll do one in here. And like I said, it's there's no need for us to keep this very low poly because of the nature of the model. So I'm just going to add them wherever I feel I want that shape to be held, okay? But obviously, if you are using this for different purposes, totally different story. There's a big n-gon here. We need to deal with that in a sec, and we will when we smooth this guy. So I think we're good. Almost anyway. There we go. Hit Q on our keyboard If we select the entire thing, we got a face count of 1260 something, so it's not even that bad, but we haven't increased it yet. Okay, so we're gonna go to hit 3 to preview smooth, so we can kind of see if we got everything we want and need. Okay, well, we got that ink on there. We're gonna fix that. Looks pretty clean. Yeah, looks all right. So we're gonna hit 1 to go back. We're gonna go to mesh and smooth to actually smooth. And as we do that, our N-gon problem should be fixed here. But it is a bit rounded, and that's something I'm not too fond of. So I'm gonna hit Control Z to go back. I'm gonna right click on the face, Control E, hit R to scale in just a bit. That should help. Hit Q on a keyboard, right click, and then go back to mesh and smooth once again. So now here, let's see, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, so that's okay, and we got 1, 2, 3, 4 there as well. So I don't see any N-gons there, so that should be good. So we're going to call this our model. All right, so next step is UVing this guy. All right, let's just delete the history quickly. Edit, delete by type, history. I'm just going to make sure it's sitting on the grid there. So we're going to go to modify and center pivot. And there we go. So it looks like it's sitting perfectly on the center of our grid. Yeah, it is. Just hold down X so you can snap it. That's good. So history is deleted. Freeze transformations. We can move this guy out of the way. Get rid of it. Okay, UVing. We're going to select this guy and we're going to go to UV, and let's do a cylindrical projection because it's basically a cylinder. We're going to select that. Now, first of all, this is not facing correctly, so we're going to grab this little green handle here and pull that up until we roughly have the right length. And now what we need to do is we need to rotate the whole thing. So we're just going to click on this guy. I'm going to hit Control A. And I want it to rotate 90 degrees in Z, like so. So now it's kind of covering our entire bullet here, and we'll just close this out. So if I now go to UV and UV editor, here is the projection that it came up with. Okay. Now I'm going to try to fit everything on the screen in a way that you have optimal view. Okay. So let's try and do that in a way that you can still see it. I'm just trying to find a way to make it most visible. Yeah, we'll do that. Okay. Alrighty. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to cut a few edges. What I want to do is to have this bottom section here cut, the tip of the bullet cut, and then the rest will be kind of a wrap. Okay, and you will understand once you see it. All right, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to turn this off, guys. It's just not working for me. We'll do that. Okay, all right, we're going to right click at an edge. I'm going to zoom in, and I'm going to take one of these edges here, that one, and I'm going to go to cut UVs. Now you can do that here. You got the scissor symbol up here as well. I'm just going to use it that way. Okay, and then on the top of the bullet here, I'm going to do the same thing. So we'll do right there. I'm going to click on that, and again cut UV edges, or you can use G to repeat last command. And then finally, I'm going to take one edge right there that is in the length position. Doesn't really matter which one, just any of them. That's going to follow all the way over. And once again, cut UV edges. All right, now that we have done that, I'll increase the size here. So now if we right click and go to shell, we got a shell here, and I'll just hit W to move that out of the way. So we've got one there, one good there. These two need to be connected because that is the main shell of the wrap around here. So I'm going to right click and go to edge, and I'm going to drag, select these edges and go to move and sew. So that's now stitched together. So right click shell is that entire thing. And what we're missing here, and I'll show you if we hover over it, is the two cuts that we made. Now these two don't look like a circle at all, okay? So I'm just going to select this guy and I'm going to go up to unfold. And there you go. That's starting to look something like a kind of cut up circle. So I'm going to right click and go to edge. I'm going to drag, select these edges and go to move and sew. And I'll do the same here. Hit G to repeat. And then I'm going to right click at a shell and go to unfold again. And you can see almost done. Right click edge, take those, move and sew, shell and unfold once again. Perfect circle. Okay, now this guy, and it looks like we got two parts there and there. So I'm going to drag, select all of this stuff, and I'm going to go to unfold, and let's see what we get. There we go. Now these need to be connected, so right click edge, select these edges, move and sew, select all of that, hit G. All right, and then we're going to right click at a shell, and we're going to go to unfold again. And that looks almost done. We have a little issue here, right there. So we're going to do move and sew, right click shell, and we'll do unfold once again. Okay, so that is our UV. I'm going to drag select all of this stuff and I'm going to click on layout. So it will position it correctly on my 0 to 1 space here. Now, some parts are more important than others, mainly the bottom part, because I want to stamp the 7.62 into it. So I need some space there, okay? So I'm going to right click and go to shell. That's my tip of the bullet. Not too worried about that. So I'm going to go to shell and I'm going to scale that down. Let's hit W and move that up here somewhere. And this guy is important for us. So we're going to hit R, we're going to scale that up. Hit W and let's move that in. Okay, and this stuff, not too worried about it. Okay, so there we go. There is our UV'd bullet. All right, now next thing we need to do is we need to create a stencil so we can use that in Substance Painter to stamp in that 7.62 in here. But before we do that, we're going to go to object mode. There we go. And we're going to go to File and Export All in this case, because this is all we got. And what I'll do is go to Tutorial Videos, and I'll just actually, I've been testing this, so I'll just overwrite this, okay? So Bullet Low Poly OBJ, that's my scene. I'm going to create an OBJ, an actual OBJ for that. So that's how I'm going to export that. Okay, there we go. So that is our UV'd bullet. Okay, next step, let's jump into Photoshop. Here we go. Okay guys, we're in Photoshop. I'm going to go to File and New, and I want a perfectly square image, and what I'll do is 2048 by 2048, which is equal to a 2K map size. Come on. And resolution, we'll do 100 and we'll hit OK. All right. Now, in order for me to create a stencil that I can use in Substance Painter, I need a black background with a white text. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by creating an additional layer, and we'll just switch this to black right there. I'm just going to take my brush, which is very large, so I just have to brush over it, and there is my black background. Okay, all right, cool. So then I'm going to switch back to white because I need that for my text. Okay, and as soon as I hit that text button here, I will get a new layer. As soon as I click here, there we go. Yep. And I'll call this 7.62 millimeters. That's kind of hard to see, so I'm going to get my selection here, and what we'll do is we'll just bring that up a little, like so, and I'll just center it. Now I want to know what curvature I need for this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create an additional layer. Just hit enter first. And on that layer, I'm going to go to File and Place Embedded. And I'm going to take this image that I got right here. Now, there we go. We're going to try to keep this round, obviously. And this is just for the simple purpose that I know where to curve it. Okay, so I'm going to bring down, let's see, the opacity a little bit so we can still see what's going on. Okay, and then we're going to go back to our text layer. First, we're going to hit enter to position that. And I'm going to go to select and deselect layers so that selection stuff is gone. All right. So here is my text layer, and I want this to be curved. Okay. So let's see, where is that thing again? I don't use it that often. So I got this guy selected. There we go. I'm going to go to this menu right here, and this is the curve type that I'm going for, the arc. Okay. Now we need to tweak that. So we kind of need to see, you know, how far that will go. This is kind of the maximum. And that seems to be right. I'm just trying to push that up. It's a bit over the top, I think. That looks a lot better. Okay, we'll go with that. All right, so we're going to hit enter. You can tweak that if you like, but you know, for this purpose, I think it's okay. So we're good with that. Then we're going to go to enter. There we go. We're going to go to select and deselect layers. We're going to take our reference image and delete that. We don't need that. And this empty layer, we're going to get rid of that as well. And then we can take these two and go to layer and merge layers. Okay. We're going to go to select and deselect, so that's all clean. And then we're going to go to File, Save As, and I'm going to overwrite this. I want to save this out as a PSD stencil. Okay, and hit Save, and in my case, Replace. All right. So next step is we are going to jump into Substance Painter. Here we go. Okay guys, well, we're in Substance Painter, so we're going to go up to File and New, and then we're going to leave this all at default. Let's see, yeah, we're just going to change this to a 2K map size, and we're going to load up our mesh. Okay, so we're going to hit select. I'm going to take my OBJ here, and I haven't created any maps thus far, so I'm going to leave that empty. And I'm going to hit OK. So that's going to load up my my model. There you go. Looks all right. And next thing we need to do is we need to load up our stencil that we created in Photoshop. Okay, so I'm just going to go onto my other screen. You guys can't see that, but that's fine. I'll just I'm just looking on my desktop to see if I can pick up that stencil we created. So just bear with me. It shouldn't take that long. Okay, and I'm bringing it in, and I'm just going to drop that in there. Okay, and I'm going to import that for current session only. All right, so that has been added. Now, before I do anything else, I need to bake my default maps. So I'm going to go up here first to View and Reset UI. So we're all on the same page and we have the same layout. And then I'm going to go to Bake Textures. Okay. Now I'm going to leave everything on, so it's going to bake everything. I'm going to set this to a 2K map size. And I'm not going to load any high poly mesh because I don't have any, and that's not the purpose of this tutorial. Okay, so we're going to do that. I will receive a few error messages because I don't have all the information to bake these properly, but later on I can decide which ones I want to use and so forth. Okay, so I'm just going to hit bake, and we'll give that a sec as it works on that. You can see down here, that's my log file with a few errors, as I mentioned. That shouldn't take too long. And there we go. Almost done. It's taking longer than I thought. I'll just pause until it's done. Okay guys, all set. These are the default maps that have been created, and now it's time to apply some materials. Excuse me. Now we have one in the texture set list, we got one material set up here. If you want to apply more than one, because let's say you want material here and on the end there, what you would do is you would apply that in Maya. So you would apply 3 different Lamberts, and then you would see here Lambert 1, 2, and 3, and you can turn them on and off depending on your needs. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to apply a smart material, and for that I'm going to use a copper. Excuse me. Yeah, and here we have copper red. That's pretty cool. So I'm going to drag that up and just let that go right there, and we'll just have that bake in. And there you go. And once that is created, you can see that it looks pretty cool. There's some wear and tear on it, which is exactly what we want. And if you open this folder up here, you have the opportunity to go in and tweak that. For example, if you click on edge damage, you can tweak the height and so forth to increase or decrease that, etc. All right, but that's for another day. All right, so now that we have that, the next step is for us to, and I'll just bring this down a bit, is to go in and apply our stencil. Okay, so in order for us to do that, we need to do a couple of things. First, we need a brush. So we're going to go here and we're going to search for our default brush, and I want that to be the hard default brush. Okay, now we can't paint on a smart layer, so what we're going to do is we're going to go in and we're going to create a new layer, and that's the one we're going to work with. Okay, and like I said, we're going to select that brush. So under brush we can see that, and I'll just make sure that's selected. And then let's see what else we need. We need the brush, we need the setting, and obviously we need the stencil. Okay, so let's set this guy up properly. We're going to hold the Alt key, left mouse button, and hold the Shift, and as we do that, it jumps to that position, and we're going to kind of position it front and center. Okay, now the next thing I need to do is pull up our stencil. So I'm going to click on that. Actually, let's turn on projection first. I always mix that up. Let's do the stencil first. Okay, and we'll call this stencil. There it is. That's our guy. And then what we're going to do is we're going to bring that down or up depending, and we're going to try to get that into position as close as possible. That is pretty good. And what we also need to do is we need to pick a material that we want to use to paint this on. Okay, so we're going to click on the default white, and we're going to take the picker and we're going to hold it and drag it onto our copper material, so we have a similar looking color, which is good. And then we can decide on the height. Now I want it to be kind of engraved in, so I want a negative value, but we're not going to go nuts on that. So let's go somewhere around here and let's have a look. And we're just going to start to paint over that value. All right. Now when that's all said and done, what we're going to do is we're going to close that out here, and we're just going to move that and see what we got. That's pretty neat. Okay. So that is basically all there is to it, guys. So if you have any questions, let me know as always. And that said, thank you guys for watching, and see you guys next time. Bye.